First time now, did I say it's 12 minutes past 8?
Qu'est-ce qui se passe avec Vincent?
Il était complètement défoncé au moment de l'accident.
Okay, so far for audio listeners, we've got a da-da-da-da and some woo-hoo-hoo and then some French. The movie we're looking at is called Little White Lies. Lena Lamont is in to review it for us. Morning, Lena.
Bonjour, Wammo.
Bonjour.
Yes, Little White Lies. Or in French, the title is Les Petits Mouchoirs, which means the little handkerchiefs. So I'm quite glad they changed it to Little White Lies for English audiences, because this film is all about secrets and lies among a group of friends, and I didn't see a single handkerchief in the whole film.
Right, okay.
So forget the French. It is a French film.
There must be some tears, though.
Oh, yeah, there are tears.
Yeah.
But I reckon they're probably using Le Kleenex.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway. So Little White Lies is a fantastic film, a little bit like Big Chill for the modern age and in French. And one of the reasons I'm so thrilled about this film is that it's written and directed by this wonderful actor, who he is in fact an actor and a director and writer in France. He'd be about our age, young chap called Guillaume Canet, and he did this fantastic film a couple of years ago called Tell No One. And at the same time, he will do some acting work and was recently in Farewell. And I'm sure that he's had roles in Hollywoody sort of films as well, right? So the beauty of this is he literally brought together a group of his own friends who are actors. We've got Marion Cotillard, who is that beautiful woman who played Edith Piaf in La Vie en Rose, and she won an Oscar for it a few years back. And then she was in Inception most recently. Right? And then even more recently, she's turning up in everything. She's about to be in a new Woody Allen film that's coming out. So Marion Cotillard is very much the French chick du jour. And so basically what he's done is, Guillaume Canet, the director, writer, what he's done is he's brought together a group of his acting friends and he's written a film very much from a personal perspective about a group of friends. And then he got them living together for like a week or so leading up to filming, got them living together in a sort of a beautiful holiday cottage, and then started filming the film around them. It's not improv like it is scripted, but the beauty of it is you really do feel, gosh, they're good actors, and there are some real relationships here, and they really seem to be quite connected with one another and very easy and all that, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just a 2-hour-plus movie about a bunch of friends who go on holiday together, but there is obviously a very sort of typically French dramatic undercurrent for the whole thing. At the very, very beginning of the film, there's this fantastic opening shot that leads us into the crux of it. A friend of theirs is very badly wounded. They're in hospital with him in Paris, and they're all like, well, we shouldn't really go on holiday, because what about Ludo? And then they all sort of go, there's nothing we can do. He's not even really conscious. Why don't we just go on holiday anyway? So that sort of sets it up for you to go, what kind of people are we dealing with here? And they go on their holiday, and then these secrets and lies sort of unfold, and such wishes that he was with so-and-so, and another bloke is pining for his ex and is running off and texting and ringing her the whole time. And then there's all this thing of, well, who's actually dating such and such, and somehow it's just a fantastic film.
Oh, you've sold it to me. I really like the sound of it. Someone, I like reading some of the YouTube comments, and someone said, just for this movie, I am proud to be French.
Well, that's great. Well, that's an accolade indeed.
Yeah.
It is good. It's well acted. As I say, it's scripted, not improvised, and yet the scripting is very realistic. I mean, obviously, we're seeing it more through subtitles, so the subtitles are very realistic. But it's a really gripping piece. And as I say, it's more than 2 hours, Wammo. And I was quite shocked at how long the film went on. And I was even more shocked at how I just wanted it to keep going.
Okay, yeah.
I wasn't like, oh, come on, guys, wrap it up.
Because that's rare. It's not often you get that. And it's a great feeling when it happens, yeah.
And the only thing I wasn't mad about, and it's funny you mentioned that from the trailer, is all the music. All the songs are in English. And I found that a little bit annoying, because the French have perfectly reasonable pop and rock and rap, right? Yeah. So it's kind of a bit like, well, I'm not quite sure who you're doing that for. But then perhaps for a French market, to be fair. Yeah. And this film has already done very well in France, because Guillaume Canet is, as I say, this bright young thing of French cinema. Maybe for them, there's something super cool about having English or American pop songs, you know, maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe it makes it accessible, they think, to an American
Well,
audience.
maybe that
perhaps.
as well. Right. That's right.
But then again, the probably it is released in America with overdubbing.
Well, it may well be.
Yeah.
But
That's happened before to some great films, and it's absolutely ruined.
yeah, that's right. But I'm sure that this will also be in America in its original form.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well,
Little White Lies.
Little White Lies. Playing now, what, Rialto's?
Yeah, Rialto's and those kind of cinemas.
Okay.
It's really
all right.
good.
On to something else now.
I can take it from here. Jesus. We're on the wrong beach. We leave now. Give me 10 minutes, Joe.
The Devil's Rock. It's a new horror. New Zealand horror it is.
It is. That's a very atmospheric trailer.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's a beautiful trailer with that music and everything.
That was nice, eh?
Yeah. So
Something sinister is afoot, that's for
something sinister is afoot, and I'll tell you for why. It's coming towards the end of World War II, and we're in the Channel Islands, and a couple of New Zealand soldiers have been planted there to finish a mission.
Yeah.
And there is very good build-up. You can tell
Yeah.
because of the way I'm describing
sure.
it.
Sounds really important.
Right, it is important. Well, I imagine it must be important because 2 New Zealand soldiers are about to save the day, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a pretty intense sort of lead up at the beginning of the film because you're like, well, we don't know why they're there and we don't know what they're going to discover. And it's not ruining it too much because just to say that what they discover is
Yeah.
that there's some crazed Nazi commander. It looks as though it wasn't filmed in the tunnels of North Head. I believe it was actually filmed in Wellington, but it looks like it's down in the tunnels of North Head, right? So they make their way down in there, and they come upon this gruesome, grisly scene of horrific murders and grotesqueness, and
Lots of blood.
plenty of blood. Probably like, corn syrup or red paint more than blood, but
Yeah.
blood nonetheless, and a lot of it. So this is definitely a gore fest
Yeah.
kind of film. And as I say, there's this crazed Nazi commander who they're not quite entirely sure. Did he commit these murders, or what is going on here? Now, the Nazi commander is played by wonderful New Zealand actor Matthew Sunderland. He was
Yeah.
David Gray in Out of the Blue. And I just think the world of him. I think he's a fantastic actor, and he's very, very good in this. He's definitely the best thing about this film. And Craig Hall from Outrageous Fortune.
Yep.
I believe you interviewed Craig.
He was on the show yesterday talking about this. Yep.
Right, that's right. And he was great. He's great in this as well.
Yep. He had a good time. He said.
He had a good time filming it. I bet he did, man. It definitely kind of seems more, if I can be frank, it seems more like the kind of film where the people making it probably had a really good time and kind of setting up the horrific tableau with the murdered people and there's like I say, probably a lot of sausages and corn syrup.
Well, Weta Workshops is involved.
They are.
So they probably threw a few things in there.
They probably did. The interesting thing for me about this, right, is the horror elements are very much more bad taste and...
well, it's being likened to that, isn't it? The
Yeah.
modern version of bad taste.
It's bad taste, meet the Feeblesy kind of gore.
Yeah.
And kind of that whole... the one with the guy's ear falls off in his porridge. We'll always remember that scene. Was that bad taste or was that brain dead? But you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's got those kind of elements to it, rather than a modern kind of horror kind of...
Yes.
The special effects are not sophisticated.
No, well, that's what we talked about with Craig Hall yesterday, where I said, well, to me it feels more like the 80s video horror, where you go to the
Yes.
video store and there's a video section. They don't have the horror section in the video store anymore, not that
No.
I've noticed, but and you look at the covers and go, ooh, as a kid. It looks like that sort of horror, as opposed to what Hollywood has done with horror in the past 10, 15 years.
Totally. And the special effects, like there's some sort of shape-shifting, morphing going on. And even that isn't particularly sophisticated. It is very much more old school than... It is, in fact. It feels very much like this is the way we would have done it before we had CGI.
Yeah. So it sounds like that you're not a huge fan, but then again, maybe this isn't for everyone. This is a cult type.
Definitely,
film.
you are so right. And I just had to be honest in reviewing this about this was not for me. I didn't find it scary, and I found the lack of sophistication in the special effects to be a distraction,
Right.
kind of, from the story, because all I could go is, but look, she looks like she's got a paper mache head. But you're totally
This
right.
would be in the incredibly strange section
It would
of
be.
the film festival.
And absolutely, to
Yeah.
give its credit,
Yeah.
it's innovative. I
Yeah.
mean, thank goodness we are actually seeing something that's innovative, not least of which has been given sort of New Zealand Film Commission funding. You know, so it's different, and it probably is to a lot of people a welcome reversion to the past,
Yeah.
to the way things used to be done, because Bad Taste and Brain Dead and all that were fantastic of their time.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I absolutely think there is a place and there is an audience for this. And I have to be honest, I'm probably not the audience for this.
Okay.
But it's got some real strengths. And I do think that the acting, particularly Craig and Matt's acting, definitely were strengths in it. So that's something that's different. Because quite often, even in the CGI'd up Hollywood kind of teen horrors that we're seeing, the acting is absolutely appalling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So really all you've got in those movies is ratcheted up suspense and then, you know, kind of a spear through the ribs, and that was that,
Yeah.
you know? So they're very different of their genre.
Okay, it's called The Devil's Rock. It is actually out today, if you want to go see that. And Little White Lies was the other film we looked at. Lena Lamont, your reviews are also, of course, in the Sunday Star Times. Check that out, and also the website as well, lenalamont.wordpress.com. We'll see you next week.
Au revoir.
Release me.
What were you expecting, my love? The devil?